You better say how many stars then. I'm going to give it 1.
Hello. So this is our second review of day 5, and
I'm going to say we are.
Sorry, and this is
If
here.
you've never seen this before, you've got no idea who we are.
Sorry, you can tell I don't do this. I'm not allowed to do this very
You actually, that's not fair. You are allowed to do this.
Yeah, I'm allowed to tease him. It's his birthday.
Yeah. All presents really accepted.
Right. So this was called Intelligence.
We still didn't say who we are.
Oh,
I'm Ian and this is Jane.
Oh, I thought we had done.
No, we hadn't.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, back to the review.
Right, Intelligence. Dutch kills theatre, political drama, 14 plus. So, gripping with an almost unbearable tension, that's the New York Times. Intelligence transports us into a US State Department basement where 2 young foreign officers and a charismatic special envoy role-play their way to a new understanding of American diplomacy. Okay.
Right, now before we get on to, I'm going to let Jane say what she thinks about this first. Right. But can I just say,
what are you going to say? Why do you have to say anything?
I don't have to say anything.
No, don't preempt it.
Sorry, all I was going to say was, I think we're going to fall out.
Yeah, I marked this in the programme, but it was something that Ian wanted to see as well. That's all I will say. So, and I made notes because we knew we weren't going to be able to do the reviews for a while.
Straight after, yeah.
So it's a 3-hander, as the little précis says, so you had a big American insignia, USA insignia. It was obviously government and table, chairs, and then 3 women, and it says 2 younger ones who'd been co-opted onto, well, they didn't know what they'd been co-opted into.
They didn't have clearance, apparently.
No. They had a clearance for a certain level, but not, so they didn't know. They couldn't be told what the actual assignment was in full. And then there was an older woman who they were working with. She was the diplomat. And there was obviously a potential incident involving another country. She, the diplomat, had been working with some leader, or we weren't quite sure. We were never told. The fact the country was immaterial, really. But the device that she used was role play. And she filmed it, and it was her way of trying to look at different strategies to deal with this situation.
So what did you think of it?
Well, hang on a minute, let me just say,
because
she was working from a diplomatic angle as opposed to a military angle. She didn't want her military counterpart to go in. So it was very wordy. And it, like I said, it was looking at angles of what she'd said to him, how these 2 girls reacted. She was using their insight into how she could have dealt with something differently, or how she might deal with another situation involving this leader. And yes, it was long, maybe slightly too long.
But it was actually.
I just thought it was
an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. I just thought it gave me an insight into. I'm not, obviously not how all diplomats work, but I'd never thought that they might use role play like that. To look at different approaches and try different things. I was engaged.
I hated it. I thought the three actresses were great. They were fine. Absolutely nothing wrong with their performance. I thought the writing was unbelievable. I thought the set was fine. Although I was slightly irritated by there was a clock that counted down hours, minutes and days, which you sort of kept looking up at, and I'm thinking, okay, we're only on Wednesday. I just found the whole premise of the thing completely unbelievable. I don't believe for 1 minute that is how the State Department in America would do it. I don't think they would role play it like that. I just don't. I found the whole thing completely unbelievable. And I just wanted it to end.
Well, I took it at face value. I appreciate that maybe they don't, but I just thought it was an interesting idea.
You're right about it being wordy, and I don't know who's written it, but actually, the actresses have got, they've got the script and they've got what they need to work with. But I just didn't find any of it really believable, and that was my problem. And I wanted to believe in it because I thought at the beginning, it sounds like my sort of thing, to be honest. It'd be political drama. But once I within the first 10 minutes or so, and I realised what the premise was, that they were doing all this finger snapping thing, which was also incredibly irritating. They would do this all the bloody time.
I like that
no,
because I can't click my fingers. Ian can. I can't because it took them into character. It took them out of character, and I thought it was quite a simple.
There was too much plot and too much story. There was a hypothesis, really, because there's a massive amount of detail there, which really didn't make sense. So the whole premise of them role playing what would happen with this mythical person, this leader, I think the whole thing for me didn't stand up as a piece of theatre. Like I say, I can't criticise the actresses, what they were working with, they were working with, and their performances was fine. I just thought the whole premise of the whole piece was flawed. Sorry, it's a bit of a rant, and I apologise. Yeah. So I actually did ask Jane if she wanted to review it, because my feeling was I don't want to trust somebody's work, but I really didn't like it. But clearly, I'm only one muppet over here. Jane has a completely different opinion, and that's partly why we do this. So the fact that Jane has got a different opinion, it's worth us reviewing it, because if this sounds like your sort of thing, clearly how many stars Jane's going to give it is a lot more relevant than what I'm going to give it.
I will just say there was a bit of a backstory between the two younger officers, they called them, didn't they? And I wasn't sure if that was really relevant. I'm not saying it was irrelevant, but I'm saying it was distracting.
But I didn't care about any of them. I didn't care. Because usually with a piece of theatre, the characters are believable, so you care about. Taking our last review, you cared about those characters in Foundations, which you can go and see down below if you haven't seen that one, because that was the one we've seen literally just before this. I cared about the puppets. I cared about the characters. I didn't care about any of these three people.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm not saying I cared about them necessarily, but I was interested in the premise that was a process that this diplomat used when she was dealing with an issue, an incident, and whether or not that is a true reflection of what happens, that didn't bother me.
Right.
I mean, if it isn't, then fine. I think it's a really good idea that somebody came up with. If it does exist, then it was a fascinating insight to how possibly diplomatic strategy works, and that there are some people that do employ that. And I took it at that level.
Okay.
And so I found it really interesting.
All right. I mean, I don't doubt that all governments do role play in the sense of I mean, we've seen these sort of things on TV where, there's a it could be a terror threat or something happens, and then you start to actually work around. You have the different agencies involved.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an issue. There wasn't any agencies involved apart from these three women.
Well, I don't think that matters in the sense that it was just a spotlight on a particular...
but diplomacy doesn't work with just one diplomat and two other people. I mean, you have other agencies involved. If you're trying to, if you're trying to stop a war or something, there's more than three people always involved. Well, and that was a problem.
I mean, but there were references to her talking to other people, and she was getting phone calls and things. So I do disagree with that.
Right. Okay. But I'm sorry.
So we will agree.
If you ever watch this, we'll agree to disagree.
We agreed to.
Don't take my word for it, because everybody's got their own opinion. I just really didn't enjoy it at all, and actually the sea was uncomfortable as well. But that's got nothing to do with the piece, really. And
he was fidgeting.
So consequently, I am actually not going to score it. I don't think it's fair. We have made this thing where we said that if we really don't like something, we are reviewing this because obviously you like it enough to want to score it, and that's fine. But I don't think it's fair for me to score it, so I'm not going to score it.
Well,
we'll go whatever score you go with.
Well, I'm going to give it a very solid 3.
Okay, that's fine. It's a 3-star review. And take it on Jane. I would take it on Jane's. You know what I've said. But if it sounds like your sort of thing, go make your own mind up. I mean, really.
But as we keep saying, this is just our opinion.
Who are we? Who are we?
And on this occasion,
and
we don't agree.
We don't agree. It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. And you were really quite surprised when I
was astonished.
Yeah.
I thought he was fidgeting because of the seat, which I personally found quite comfortable. I
just wanted it to end. I really did want it. I mean, sadly, I did look at my watch a couple of times, which is not something I would normally do in a play, and I apologise. I apologise to the cast if they ever see this, and the theatre company. Your piece of work wasn't for me, but clearly it was for Jane.
Yeah.
Right, when's it on? I'm happy to tell you people when it's on.
I'll do that.
Okay,
I'll do
sure?
that.
I've got it here.
Yeah, no, I'll do it. I'll do that. So it is on at the Assembly Roxy upstairs, which is venue 139. It is an hour and 20 minutes, and it is on. Now we've missed that, so it is on.
It's right the way through.
Right the way through. It is doing 2 for 1, so that'll be tomorrow and Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it will be £12.50 on certain dates and £13.50 on the others.
There's no show on the 10th and 15th.
Right, yeah.
Does not say that in there.
No, it doesn't do it.
It finishes on the 29th, but there's no show on the 10th and 15th.
Yeah, sorry, that does actually that shows it easily. Yeah, okay. So
if it sounds like your sort of thing, ignore me. What the hell do I know? Take what Jane says.
Well, I don't want that responsibility, but anyway.
Anything else?
No, I think that's.
Thanks so much for watching. Fight over.
It was not a fight.
No, it wasn't. No. But we agreed to disagree.
Okay.
And it won't be the last time. And we'll see you in the next video.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.